All right, hey everybody! Thanks for coming. We're official. We're launching. I got a new haircut. I went to the big mustache yesterday and got that big haircut done because I looked at myself yesterday in my very first live stream and I was like, "Wow, you need a haircut." So that's how we're getting started. We're talking about hair, but you didn't come here to talk about hair. You came here to learn about Rubber Chicken AI. I am so excited to share this with you. For the last 30 years, I have had the opportunity to be a team designer for some amazing companies around the world, from Michelin to ExxonMobil to project management to Subway. And some of you are even on the stream or signed up for the stream today, and I'm excited to see you here again. And what I've learned over 30 years of team design is that you can match learning preferences, the science of learning, with great team building activities. You see, the way people have been doing team building wrong is they're looking at how to deliver the team building because somebody else did a team building event and it worked out really well. And they were, everyone loved throwing the axes, or everybody loved going to the escape room. And that works for some teams. But wouldn't it be great if you could come up with a way of reaching people in a way that is scientific and you have a better chance of being successful? That's been my practice for the last 30 years. And we've had some great success in delivering team building events that people love. And for the last 30 years, I've been looking for a way to be able to help other managers, leaders, learning developers to be able to distill through the hundreds and thousands of activities that I have in a way that they can pick team building activities with some laser focus. We've done everything from databases that are searchable to I've written 30 books. There's a bunch of ways that we've tried to deliver that information. But with the advent of AI, total game changer. And that's what I want to show you today. All right, before I get into that, take a quick step. I want to take a quick step back and I want to show you a little bit of the things that are important in learning design. I want to show you a little bit of Howard Gardner's theory. He's a professor from Harvard University. He talks about multiple intelligences. And I think learning styles, that's not really a thing, and we could get into a really long discussion about that. But I do believe that learning preferences play a huge part in what people are interested in leaning into in team building. And I want to show you some of those things. So Here we go. So Howard Gardner talks about multiple intelligences. He suggested originally that there were 8 intelligences. So these 8 intelligences list from interpersonal, linguistic, naturalistic, intrapersonal, musical, visual, spatial, logical, mathematical, and body kinesthetic. And what we learned is that through Howard Gardner's work is that students kind of lean towards one way that they like learning, and that his theory was that you could help students to pick a job that was inspiring based on what their learning preference was. So for example, if you're kinesthetic, maybe you're a construction worker, maybe you're a police officer, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're mathematical, logical, maybe that takes you towards a career in engineering or in accounting or bookkeeping, something that's math related. Maybe you're interpersonal, you're that people person, you're in sales, you're a counselor, you're that kind of thing. And what I realized is if I started to look at Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, and I could say, how can I apply the team building tools that I'm choosing to those specific types of learning modalities? And what I realized is that if I was authentic and conscious in my design, I could come up with a way of really reaching those people in a way that they wanted to be there. Taking myself out of the team building, the things that I love to do are the things I love to do, but putting them in the center of the learning. And you know what? It was amazing because it really started to uptick for the learners. They started to lean in because, the mathematical, logical folks, they were like, hey, you know what? We want it to be quicker and we want it to be logical. We want there to be a winner, a loser. We want to be able to measure results. And when I was able to deliver activities like that, boom, they were leaning in. When I was working with sales groups and we started to really lean into the interpersonal things where they got to talk, they made sure everybody was part of the conversation, boom, they leaned in. But here's the thing. Here's the rub is that not everybody who is necessarily working for company X falls into that category. Maybe they have different types of jobs or different types of roles within the organization. So there we had to start to look at the multiple intelligences, and we had to come up with a way to look at how to connect to the multiple learners. And check this out. This is what we were doing. We were evaluating our teams on all 8 of the learning styles. And what we noticed is, people might have that number one learning preference that drove them into a job or guided them into that job that they do or that role that they play. But it also began to identify that they had secondary and tertiary preferences. So they're not all kinesthetic or they're not all interpersonal. If you look at the blue dot, and that's one person who would have been evaluated, they're kinesthetic, interpersonal, naturalistic. Kinesthetic being their highest, and then they're equal in interpersonal and naturalistic. And when we would plot the entire team on the graphic, what we noticed is that there were areas of concentration. So if I'm looking at this team and you're looking at it with me, you'll notice that there's kind of 2 learning intelligences or learning preferences that come to the top of the scoring card, and that's kinesthetic and interpersonal. So what I began to do is I started to look at how can I find their innate desires, their preferences, and that's where we began to look at building their team building activities. And for the last 30 years, I've been categorizing and tabulating all these activities, testing them, rubber to the road to see which ones belong where and who likes to do what. I have thousands of these activities now, and for years I've been trying to get them in the hands of managers and leaders and learning designers and project managers so that they can begin to activate, whether it's in a remote team, a hybrid team, or an in-person team, without having to distill through all the garble and all the gook that's online, and all the misinformation. I mean, if you go to Google and you Google team building activity or icebreaker for a Zoom event, you are going to get what the internet believes is a great activity. Wouldn't you rather have something that someone who's in the Canadian Hall of Fame of speaking and who's been running team building events for over 30 years, with Fortune 500 companies, working at the C-level, working on the shop floor, to be able to say, try this one because it works. And that's exactly what one of my project managers did a few years back. I was in Florida and we were doing a project manager leadership training. And this is how I was getting the information out. And the project manager looked at me and she said, listen, you don't understand, Tyler. I work at NASA and I work with a bunch of engineers and they don't do team building. You've probably experienced that before. Your team just doesn't want to do it. You believe that, they're not interested in doing team building. You know what? I said to her, I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this activity. It's called commonalities. And I said, I want you to take commonalities and I want you to do it with them on Monday morning. And I said, when you do it, the reason they're going to like it, and I listed off the reasons why it fit with a mathematical logical learner. And I said, if you do this activity with them in this time space and you give these rewards, you'll have a winner. She wrote me back at the end of that Monday and she said, Tyler, they loved it. What do I do next? That becomes the bigger problem, is what's next? So insert Rubber Chicken AI. I want to show you what Rubber Chicken AI looks like. Rubber Chicken AI is the tool that I've been using to help inform the activities that we're running. And we have it in a couple of different ways. One of the ways that we have it, and I'll show it to you, is right here. We have it as an app. So it comes as an app, but I'm not going to show it to you as an app because you might be on your phone right now, and that is probably the tiniest thing that you've ever did see. And you're like, Tyler, I cannot see your app, but I want you to know that there is an app, so you can instantly look at Rubber Chicken AI right from your phone. But I'm going to show it to you here inside my computer with the desktop version. So I built Rubber Chicken AI. We built 6 specific rubber chickens. One is Sage. That's our multiple intelligence chicken. That's our leadership coach. You can go there and ask leadership questions, coaching questions. You can practice. You can have practice dialogue sessions with Sage, working through challenges, all based on 30 years of research that I've been doing as a management consultant and speaker and author. That's what's feeding Sage. You see, that's part of the difference as to what this is all about. It's not looking at all of the internet. I've built a fence. Part of the reason I chose Rubber Chicken is because it's kind of like a coop, right? We've got this coop, and it's all that's inside the coop is the information that I know works. Right? It's the stuff that I've been working on. It's inside that coop in a way that it inspires those chickens and teaches those chickens. And those chickens know multiple intelligence quotient. They know my favorite leadership activities, my favorite team building activities. They understand how to debrief the way that I think managers and leaders and facilitators should be debriefing. It has a structure, and it's not all the gobbledygook. It's not all the slop from around the internet. All right. That's my little soapbox for today. Okay, back in we go. So we have these 6 birds. We've got Sage. We've got Saul. Saul's our icebreaker chicken. Saul will take you through and help you to understand what's a great activity for a group of 6 in a remote event, and I need 5 minutes, and they're all project managers. Boom, Saul will give you some ideas. Saul will help you to figure out what your activities look like. Team building. Well, maybe you're running a retreat and you're looking for, or you're having a meeting and you want to do that cool team building activity. There are great team building companies. You can hire my team building company to come in and do a live event. We do everything from 8 to 8,000 people, and there's some fabulous team building companies. Team bonding in the States is absolutely amazing. David does amazing work. Stuart Harris over in China is doing amazing work, or in Asia. These are these are capstone events, but what can we do to keep the needle flowing? What are we doing during those times in between those capstone events? That's what Loon is all about. Loon is about giving you those 20-minute, 2 hour, 1-2 hour events that you can do that will really help to create cohesion and communication and trust within your teams. And you can talk to Loon and find the activities that are focused on that learning outcome. Good team building is good team learning. I've been saying that for 30 years. If we look at team building as learning design, then we begin to be able to manage our outcomes and we're able to measure how people are learning. So that's Loon. Debriefing, that's Socrates or Socrates. Socrates is amazing at being able to create great debriefing questions, lessons learned, all those types of things. That's what Socrates is going to help you to do. So at the end of a project, you're looking at how do I get at the information that I want to get at, so that I can build my reports, so that I can create the opportunity to build those great lessons learned and move them in a way that I can help to move the needle and improve my projects. This is Flash. Flash is our energy and engagement specialist. Take your agenda, share it with Flash. Flash will look at it and say, here's a space where you can create some white space inside your event. Here's how you can add some energy. Geez, that looks like a really long time to be sitting in one spot in the afternoon. Hey, are you eating pizza for the afternoon and you're expecting people to do an energized activity after lunch? Flash is going to give you some advice. Flash is going to sit you down and say, these are the things that can work. These are the things that I would suggest. This is Trophy. Trophy is our rewards and recognition expert. If you're building a rewards and recognition strategy or program inside your organization, Trophy will help you do that based on learning design. So based on that MIQ stuff that we're talking about, all the things, the multiple intelligence stuff that Sage is an expert in, Trophy also understands and is able to say, you know what, you have a group of intrapersonal learners. They do not want to stand up and receive trophies in front of everyone. Here's a better way. Here are the things that you can do. Have you considered this? Let's build your strategy. So that's that. I'm going to show you inside those, but I want to also show you where we're going. So this is our first edition of Rubber Chicken AI. We have a second edition coming that we're working on, and we're working hard. And I'll just give you a quick little view of it. This is it, the new app, and it has everything from a coop to a flock. That's where you talk to your chickens, all that kind of stuff. But it has this feature called Cluck It. And Cluck It is a tool that allows you, and here's some screenshots of Cluck It. Cluck It allows you to take your conversation that you have with your rubber chicken and put it inside the Cluck It machine, and the Cluck It machine then takes that conversation, and it has like 5 different reports for each different rubber chicken. It's able to then push out a strategy that you can print, a report ready-made using our Cluck It AI. And so say, for example, you're working with one of the chickens. You're working with Saul. Let's just take Saul. Let's take icebreakers. So you've come up with an icebreaker, set of icebreakers for launching your next series of 6 online meetings, and you've decided on the top 6 activities that you like. You dump that into Saul's report generator, and boom, out pops like the how-to, the equipment that you need, the things you need to prep for. It gives you a report that shows you exactly step by step what you need to do in order to deliver that activity. So you're a busy manager. You can have a 10-minute conversation with one of the chickens while you're heading to work. Maybe you're sitting on the train. Maybe you're, sitting by the pool with your kids on the weekend, and you're thinking about next week. And you have a quick little conversation with Saul. You're having coffee in the morning while you're getting ready to go to work, and you sit down and you have that conversation with Saul, and then you take that conversation and you put it in Clucket, and boom, pops out exactly what you need in order to be effective. That's how it works. So I want to show you what it looks like inside. So that's what's coming right now. What's in here is we have our rubber chicken AI. And when we start, Saul's going to start you off, and all the chickens kind of work similarly, where they all are ready to have this conversation with you. And down here, it says, type your message. Saul introduces themselves. They want to help you to take your team to the next level. So let's say we're working with software, we have quite a few project managers who are checking us out today. So let's say we have a group of project managers is who we're working with. So we just tell them that they're project managers. Saul's like, oh, that's cool. So you're working with project managers, and excuse my internet, it's a little slow this morning. It's still the morning here in Canada. And Saul's thinking, so who are we working with? So Saul's going to think about project manager, and Saul's back. All right. So here's Icebreaker program for your project managers. Just so you know that, I make mistakes, and you should check it out with your HR legal, blah, 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 blah. So then Saul asks you a few more questions. Saul says, how many people do you have in your group? And you're like, Saul, we've got 8 people coming. So that's how many people. We're going to be in person. And time available, we've got 10 minutes. And then Saul says, since you mentioned project managers, here are the things that I'm inferring that they'd likely prefer. So Saul is, if you can go through the whole assessment tool with Sage, and Sage will ask you questions to help you define and decide what your team is made up of, their preferences. Here, Saul is basically making inferences based on what they know of project managers and how to create no cringe, super safe, fun activities. So right now, what Saul's thinking about, well, what can I suggest to Tyler in order to help him to deliver better for his project manager? So Saul comes back with, here we go. Here's the safest bet. The commonalities, just like I said, for the leaders at NASA, or the engineers at NASA, commonalities. Again, Saul likes that one. It's also suggesting PowerPoint of me and talk crosstalk. So they each are then listed, the name, best for, and who they're best for, time that it takes to do it, group size, materials required, step-by-step how to facilitate. And then it gives you like some ways to launch the activity, so that hook, that first couple seconds of what you say, then it gives you some variations of ways to do it, things to watch out for, how to make it more inclusive. Then we look at like measurement. How do we evaluate who's won? So it gives you those ideas. Here it goes. Now it's going through option number 2. If you don't like any of these options that come out, you can just ask Saul to give you more. Like Saul will go back into the vault and be like, okay, you didn't like those 3? I'll give you 3 more. And Saul will keep going. And next step is we're going to then be able to take these outputs that we have by clicking up these 3 little dots up here. You can download the conversation right now, so you can have a copy of it. But you can download the conversation and then put it into our Clucket machine. So here we go. So here Saul is going through the whole step-by-step of laying out these 3 options for you. So that's an example of what Saul will be able to do for you. If we go back home, we can do it for any one of the birds. The other thing that this allows, and if time allows, because I know I'm only scheduled 30 minutes in your calendar, The other thing that this tool allows is each one of the chickens, because this is based in my team building school. So if you go to teambuildingschool.com, you can see some of the other courses and things that we have available. Each one has its very own leadership session. So it has its own little asynchronous course, complete with a little video that shows you how to do it. That's me talking about the tool. Then here's another link to Loon so you can play with her. And in here, these are some recommended prompts that you can put in. This gives you an idea of what they can actually help out with. So these are the things that they're expert in, because each chicken can't be everything to everyone, but they all are trained with very specific things. And here are some prompts. So you can just copy the prompt and then dump it into the chat feature and let Loon get to work, right? So that's part of what's available to you inside of the tool. All right. So that's how Rubber Chicken AI works. It's a very it's an increasingly robust tool. I have hundreds and thousands more activities that I'm going to be putting inside of the tool to help to even make it more fulsome. So if that interests you, I would absolutely love you to come and join us. Here's a whoops, let me put that up properly so it looks super fancy. There you go. If you want to join us, you can scan this QR code or head over to rubberchicken.ai. You can use the code forever75, and whatever you order, there's a couple other things on the order sheet if you're interested in more team building school stuff, but you will have access to Rubber Chicken AI forever at 75% off. And I think it's only like $47 or something like that, or $50 for Rubber Chicken AI. So you're getting 75% off whatever it's selling for right now. And the reason I have to charge you something is it costs money to actually run the Rubber Chickens. So this is hopefully a good value for you, and you can lean in and really start to get to know the chickens, start to get to see what they're all about, how they can help you. And I promise you, when we move over to the new app, we are going to enable you to come over and check out what's going on in the new app for the same price that you got it for right now. So be sure to come pop in, check out Rubber Chicken AI. Hopefully you have grabbed that code of Forever 75. Pop over, see us, grab some of the courses in the team building school for the same 75% off. This will expire on June 5th. So if you're watching this video as a record, this is over June 5th, 2026. But between now and then, you get 75% off, which is going to be the top discount that I ever provide. So check it out, grab it, and really start to up level your team building. Look at it as learning design. If you take some of the courses in team building school, you're really going to take a deep dive into how does multiple intelligence quotient work. There's tools in there that you can use to help to build your teams, and they're all tagged with the types of learners, learning preferences, and who's going to do and enjoy the most from that particular activity. So head over to Rubber Chicken AI, grab a copy of that QR code, snap it. I got 20 seconds left, and I'm just gonna say thank you very much for joining me. This is my second live stream. You're gonna see more of these coming out on LinkedIn and YouTube, wherever you get your content. So keep an eye out, because we're going to make some magic happen. I am so grateful that you joined me today, and I am looking forward to spending more time with you. All right, well, take care and have a fabulous Friday. If you're in Canada, you know what? It's going to be a long weekend. And if you're around the world, I will write you a note, and you can take a long weekend too. All right. Thanks a lot for your time. Have a great day at work. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.